First, happy Mental Health Monday. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, I am Kayla June, Kale Barb on social media. Let's say it right. Kale Barb on social media. Can you tell that I haven't filmed in like forever, that I don't even know my own intro? Actually, my nerves are pretty shot filming this, but it's probably the main reason that I haven't filmed, because I know I need to film this video and for myself, and I know how difficult it's going to be, so bear with me. But yeah, so I don't even know where to start. So the reason why I decided, okay, this might be beneficial for a few of you, is because a lot of you who are new have messaged me about my depression story video, which have talked about my parents, my dad, my biological dad, and I know that many of you have asked, who have problems with their dad, you know, how do you cope, how do you get through it, you know, asking personal information, which is perfectly fine. So I decided, because I'm someone who tends to bottle things up when it comes to my father, I have problems with my mom as well. I don't talk to either of my parents, but with my mom, I'm more open to talk about things about her and I. My father, not so much. I don't like talking about it. It gets me angry. It makes me upset. I cry. And I knew it would be beneficial for me to film this because it's something that I can talk about for once, and it may be beneficial for you in a way. I don't know, just maybe like hearing someone having the same problems, have gone through the same issues. I don't even honestly know where to start with this video. So in my depression story video, or my anxiety and depression video, I talked about how it like started. So my parents both had me very young. I believe my mom was like 19, my dad may have been 20. So they had me really young. I don't really have a lot of pictures, like I would say a lot of current pictures, recent pictures of me older with my dad. I am going to be posting photos like here so you can like see what he looks like, him and I together. However, I have my own room, which is my beauty room, in our place, and I have two pictures of me and my dad that I actually keep like hanging up in my room. They're like in a secret spot, only I know where they are, but they're visible to me. So there's this one. My mom made this into a heart. There's actually like written stuff on the back. And don't mind my nails, I haven't gotten them done with this quarantine stuff. But that's me really little, and that's my dad. And then this one, oh, focus. And then this one I have also that I hang up. So I always keep those photos close to me in some way, shape, or form, because the one with me in the yellow dress, the second photo, I actually remember that day because we all, like my entire dad's side of the family, like we took a huge like cousins photo, and there's like so many of us, and I just remember that day because at the time I was the youngest girl and the youngest in general, which is funny. I'm no longer the youngest, but at that time I was the baby, and that back then it was like the cousins and like my uncles and like my dad and stuff like that, so it was just like generation, you know what I mean? But I was the baby of the group, so I don't know, it was just like, it's kind of like sentimental because I don't even know where that photo is, and I know it's on Facebook somewhere, I just can't find it. I was trying to find it for you guys. If I do find it while I'm editing, I will post it here. I also had a hard time filming this because I know it's going to be very controversial with my family. It may hurt a lot of feelings as to why a person like him affects me so much. So when I was 3, my parents split up. My mom had full custody of me. I was actually raised by my grandparents, which I have photos of me and my grandfather, which I will save for the end. He was my dad. I'm already getting emotional. He was my dad because he raised me to be who I am today. He was my father figure. He was like I am like this with my grandmother, like this. I lived with them up until I was 21, and I'm 27 now. I'll be 28 soon. Can you tell how nervous I am? My hands are in my pockets of my pants because I'm so nervous. So there's a difference between what my mom does to affect my mental health and then what my dad does. So this video is just going to be solely on my dad. I don't know if I'll ever film one on my mom, just because I know she'll say it, and I don't know, it's just like makes me feel a certain way. But with my dad, I don't know if he'll ever see this because I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. And to be honest, I don't even know if he's alive. As far as I know, he is. But every day I wonder because I just honestly don't know. And no one ever knows. And if you hear the rain, I'm sorry. It's been pouring for like a few days. So the thing that my parents did when I was little, and I have to zone out to like actually think, so if you see me like spacing out over here, it's just because I'm thinking. The thing that my parents did with me is use me as a weapon against each other. If one was mad at the other, they would either talk about each other. So I would see like my dad every other weekend, sometimes, if he would show up. Mind you, I am like 5 years old at this point, because I don't think he could see me or like take me out of the state of PA, because he lived in Jersey, until I was about 5 or 6. I remember when he did get to pick me up and I would only have to stay in PA, he would take me to like the movies, and I remember police officers being in the movie theater the row behind us because they had to be supervised. I remember there were times where he never showed up as a kid, and I remember my mom calling him while he was still in Jersey, and she would mute it and have it on speaker just to prove, like, she would tell me he's not coming, and I don't know why, but he's not coming. And I would sit there and wait by the door, literally a 6-year-old waiting for her dad at the door with my weekend bag packed and everything. And I remember that one time she called him on speaker and he answered, and it was like 3 hours past that he was supposed to pick me up. I remember times where he would call her and say he couldn't get me for whatever reason. And a part of my mom was actually thrilled that he didn't come get me because she hated when I left, which I understand, I would too. And she would like take me to Chuck E. Cheese or like the movies or Dave & Buster's or dinner to distract me from being sad. My mom back then was pretty awesome with me, but that didn't last. But I'm not talking about her, am I? Anyway, he was very there and not there. I remember he showed up randomly one day at my school when I was in middle school, and I remember hearing Kayla June, and he's the only person that calls me that, and my husband now. No one ever calls me Kayla June, unless you're my father or my husband. Which is funny because it was funny when I met Vincent and told him my name, like, my name's Kayla June, whatever, and he just started calling me that, and I thought it was awesome. It was nice. But anyway, I remember hearing Kayla June from the hallway. And I got so scared because I knew. And I haven't seen him. And I knew it was him. And it was at the end of the day. We were lined up to leave to go outside. And I remember running to my grandfather crying. And my grandfather didn't know what to do. So he just took me home. I lived with him, but he just took me home. And he told my mom, and I didn't know what to do. And it's crazy because when I look back, I was so scared, and I shouldn't have been so scared to see my dad. At such a young age, you would think a little girl would want to hear her dad's voice and run to him. But no, I ran to my grandfather outside, who was picking me up from school. My grandfather always picked me up from school. He drove me to my dance practices, my cheerleading practices, my soccer games, my soccer practices, anything. My grandfather was the one that was there. This is why, like, I doubt my grandfather will ever, he has Facebook, but I doubt he'll ever watch this. I don't know. And if he is, and if you are dad, I call him dad. This is nothing against you. This is just for me expressing how I feel, because Sean has a very significant impact on my mental health. So when I was in high school, he was never around. Never around. When I turned 18, I was graduating. I had proms, I had like major senior year events, and he was never there. I should have probably added, my dad, apparently, I don't even know if it's true or not, but it would make sense. So I've been told my dad's entire side of the family has major mental health issues. Like, and I say issues because I'm allowed to. It's my family. They all have mental illnesses, whether it's severe anxiety, severe depression. My dad has bipolar disorder. I've been told he was schizophrenic at one point. I don't know if that's true. He has referred to himself as a different person. And it's crazy because something happened recently, as in like the last 5 years, where he did something really bad and he referred to himself as this other person. And when I was younger and he would get angry, like when I was younger, he always referred to him as the same person. Not like himself, but the same person that he referred to himself recently. Like when he was angry and like abusive. My father wasn't really physically abusive in any way with me. He was more so, your mom doesn't love you. You'll never be first in your mom's life. Granted, he was right, I'm not. I think at one point that just stopped, but that's beside the point. I don't, like, I'm just, like, venting, I guess. I don't even know, because I keep looking at the time, and I'm just, like, in the back of my head, it's just, like, these people are going to be like, what is the point of this video? My dad is an alcoholic. My dad is a drug user. He has been arrested one too many times. He is suicidal. And I say is because he's done many things where I've had to either bail him out or help him. While I was planning our wedding, my dad tried to kill himself. And before that, I didn't talk to him for like 5 years. And I was his next of kin. My dad was pretty much gonna die. And he lived states away from me, so there was no way I could even be there physically. So while I was planning a wedding, which is stressful enough, I had to have my phone, and I was in college, I had to have my phone on me 24/7 because doctors called me all day long. I remember he had like 4 skin grafts, and I laughed because it's just like, my father, by the way, now is face, head to toe, covered in tattoos. And I was so paranoid because I'm just thinking he's gonna wake up and either hate me or wake up and be grateful. If he wakes up. He did, by the way. That was probably one of the scariest things ever for me, because I remember my little brother calling me, telling me he tried to kill himself and they don't know if he's gonna make it. And I'm thinking, you know, he did something that wasn't totally drastic, but I didn't understand why. And I say totally drastic as in, like, because he's done this so many times for attention, and I'm not even saying this to say this about suicide, because I'm 100%, like, as a survivor in that aspect, I don't take it lightly, and I say it for attention because I was physically there when he's done things, and it was because we were fighting. Oh, my camera just shut off. I don't know what happened because it's not dead. Oh my goodness. Oh, I have been physically there when he tried to commit suicide, and it was more so, like, threats and stuff like that, and he's done things in front of me because I didn't agree, or I didn't do something he wanted to do, or I went against him on something. Like, I've been there. I know what he does. He's biologically my dad. I get it. And it sucks because, in a way, I never thought I was ever going to have to go through years of him in and out of my life. My dad always had a drinking problem, even when I was young. When I was 12, he gave me alcohol for the first time. And I don't mean like a sip. I mean, would give me alcohol. Like, give me alcohol. And I'm young. I guess you can say that's physically abusive. I don't know. I don't like cursing on my channel, so I'm like trying to bite my tongue. He has numerous times contacted me on different accounts on Facebook, called my phone from different numbers, called my phone from unknown numbers, texted my phone from random numbers, changed his number 15 times, said that he was going to call me and then doesn't call me a month later. I would call him and he doesn't answer. When I was 18, I had a best friend, and he had family who were police officers, and he helped me find him. He was in Jersey, and I found him, and I snuck behind my mom's back, and I went to go see him. I was beyond excited. It was such a relief, because I thought, I get to build this relationship back. My best friend at the time and I probably went down there every weekend, like every Friday or Saturday. And then it stopped. And it stopped because my dad and I got in a fight, and he told me he never wanted to see my face again. And something he always told me was, you remind me of your mother, and it needs to change. Something my mother always told me, you remind me of your father, and you need to change. So from 18 on, probably 3 years went by, and then another 5 went by, maybe 4. My husband and I have been together for almost 7 years, and he's never met him once. He's never met anyone besides my brother on that side of the family. Probably never will, and I hope he never does. My kids won't know who he is. The hardest part about everything is looking back at photos or listening to songs I remember him and I used to love and thinking about it, or thinking about him. And it really sucks because with my dad versus my mom was always there physically, never emotionally or mentally there. Like, she never just wanted to listen to me, which sucks too. But I felt like with my dad, he could be, he just didn't want to be, ever. He only wanted to be when it was on his terms. I remember, and this just popped in my head, my husband was actually supposed to meet him around Christmas one year. I think it was in 2014 or 15. I was so excited because we were actually okay. And I remember keep calling my dad's phone and he just stopped answering me and he never called me. And the date came and I'm just like, what should we do? Like, should we just go? I was like, no, I'll just wait for his call. And he never called. It's probably heaven sent, honestly. I'm literally trying to fight back tears because I hate crying on camera. And I think what makes me cry a lot is that I wish I could go back to the 6-year-old girl that would wait for her dad all the time. And tell her don't bother. Tell her that she's strong enough and doesn't deserve to wait around for anybody, no matter if they're your parent. I spent years, and I still spend moments thinking where he is he alive? Does he even care what I'm doing? I got married. It's not like I got a phone call. My number hasn't changed. My number hasn't been different since I was in high school. Maybe before then, I don't even know. Like, and he'll always have an excuse. And that's why, like, I see a lot of my friends who are single moms. Even, like, the dads who are single dads. Like, a part of me says, don't take that time away from the other parent. If they're a good parent, let them have that. No matter how much you hate them, let them have that. Let your child have that. But at the same time, protect your kid. I'm not a parent yet, but as a child, once upon a time, especially from an abusive one, protect your kid. I cried so hard on my wedding day before everyone came, because a father's a big part of a wedding day for a girl. You know, the first dance, or not the first dance, the father-daughter dance, walking down the aisle. But then, it's a big day for a bride, a little girl, to spend that time with her father. But then it took me some time to realize I gotta be grateful for what I have and who I have, and not what I don't. I have 2 father figures now in my life. And they are the best father figures I could have ever asked for. I've always had my grandfather. Since I was a baby, since I was born. He raised me. He took care of me. He supports me in everything that I do. All he does is he wants me to be happy and healthy. He was the one that walked me down the aisle. he was the one who had his father-daughter dance with me. And he holds such a strong and huge part of my heart, and he always will. And sometimes I think he forgets that. And then you have my father-in-law, which is funny because a lot of people say that you're usually never close with your in-laws, and you know, I surprised my father-in-law with a dance on our wedding day. You can't surprise that man for anything. And it was one of the best moments of the wedding, like the reception and everything. I know if I needed anything in life and I called my grandfather, he would answer and talk to me and help me in any way he can. And I know if I called my father-in-law, he would drop, because he has. I've heard him. He's done it. He's saved me on so many occasions, mentally and like literally. This camera's annoying me. But what I was saying was, I know how lucky I am to have such great male influences in my life who will do anything to take care of me and protect me. Because when my mom and dad wouldn't, my grandfather stepped in. And it's rare that a father-in-law would step in. And he's known me for 7 years. He knows about my anxiety, my depression, and in the beginning it was hard for him to like understand. I feel like it still is sometimes, but he's always willing to make me feel comfortable and to make sure that I'm safe. And that is why I wanted to surprise him with the song, because he has done so much for me as a dad. And I honestly don't know where I'd be without those two. And despite of anything I've ever been through, remembering and realizing that I have them is everything. And I know anyone who is watching, if you have problems with your dad, your biological dad, if you have somebody out there who is like a dad, hug them after the quarantine's over. Appreciate them. Don't take them for granted, you know what I mean? Because in reality, they don't have to be there. It's not their obligation. And it's always the little things, you know? Like when my grandfather will Facebook message me hi or send me funny videos on Facebook, I think it's hilarious. But I know he's thinking about me. And the same thing with like my father-in-law. Like he always takes my feelings into consideration. Always. I'm just very lucky. And even when there are days where I think of my biological dad, no matter any pain that I feel, the love that I feel, and the safe feeling that I have when I'm with my grandfather or my father-in-law trumps anything that I've ever been through. And I hope whoever's watching has this too. Because no matter if you share blood, and their family, and they're your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, whoever, it's not worth the pain and you don't deserve that. And nobody should treat you in any way, shape, or form anything less than what you deserve. I don't know if my father-in-law actually watches my YouTube videos. I was just thinking about it. I know my mother-in-law does. So, I don't even know how to end this. This video is so long. But despite of just me trying so hard not to cry on camera, I keep looking back and thinking back on our wedding day. And I just keep thinking about all the times when my grandfather was there for me. And as much as I wanted my biological dad to be and he wasn't, it took me years to realize what really matters. And I think, and I'll end it with this, what hurts the most about my biological dad and why he affects me more than anyone in the world when it comes to me and up here, whenever I had mental breakdowns, panic attacks, he was the only person that understood what I was going through. And day by day, month by month, year by year, forgot weeks, week by week, I always wish I could pick up the phone and just tell him what's going on, because I know he gets it. And I never had someone else that gets it, 100% gets it. I think I will always wish I had someone that just got it and understood. But can't make people stay. You can't keep people here that don't want to be here. I don't know how to end this video. This quarantine makes me feel a lot, but I'm gonna go, because this is just a bunch of rambles. If you want to get a glimpse or a feeling of how I feel, listen to the American Idol version of Piece by Piece by Kelly Clarkson, because that song is everything about my biological dad and I, and how lucky I am to have a husband who is a great husband and who will be a great dad one day. I love you, bears. I'm sorry for rambling for an hour, but I love you.